Morning from Wales. We're doing a little bit of composite decking, and the idea of this video is to show you how you can put something together which is going to be low maintenance. Okay, because it's composite, it's a mixture of resin, wood, and you've got other sort of recycled materials. You haven't got the maintenance on that. What I've done with this one is I've concreted in, I've used Godfathers, or what they call concrete spurs. These are what you normally use to bolt to a post when it's gone rotten. But I've put these in so that they, they'll last a lot longer than post. The disadvantage, I have to say, is I'm going to have to cut them, obviously, which will expose the metal, and I need to make sure that is waterproof, sort of covered, so we don't have that problem, which, I guess that will come a problem in time, but at least it'll last a lot longer than the wood. So we're using a product from Decafence. This is teak. They do coffee and various other sort of different decking. In terms of the joists, so I used tannalized timber, and these were basically 6x2, 150 by 47 millimeters, 4.2 meter length. In this case, obviously, I'm coming off joist hangers off the log cabin. So I'm coming off joist hangers off the log cabin, and I'm just coming through with a very slight fall to the front to let the water shed off the decking. In terms of the spacing with this kind of decking, they recommend about 300 mil. You can go to 380, 400 probably tops. What's a good idea? The idea really is to cut yourself a load of noggins, and to do one, and as you go put the noggin in, screw it, and you've got your spacing every time, so you're going to get them identical. I'm going to do that round. I didn't do that on this, to be honest, but that would be a better system of doing it. Obviously, once you've got the joists in, they can still twist and distort, so you need noggins. So the noggins, just screwed them in, they just give it nice and structural support there. We've got planes, we'll let the plane go. What we have to start off with, away from the building, we have these little kind of spacers, which if you look at I'll just get a bit of decking to show you. This little bit of a spacer, and they clip in like that, so you can screw them to your joist, get them all level, and in a straight line, put a straight line and screw them down, and then it just clips into your decking like that. Obviously, when you're doing boarding, you stagger the joints, so you can see we've got a stagger back and forth, working its way back and forth there. And what Adam's doing here, all with his nice knee protectors, very safe. He's putting these in not fully tight. Okay, so he's just putting them in, and we'll pinch them up later. The problem if you put them in too tight, when you try to get the next one in, you're going to struggle to get it in. So by putting them quite loose, that will help. Obviously, you should hopefully have everything all nice and squared off the building. But if you are slightly out, you can leave the end cut to do. And do them individually, but I tend to do them all in a batch. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. Okay. Just got rid of the stunt man because that was dangerous, so now I'm in, and I'm going to do this bit. So what we do is we get the decking. What I've done here, little tip, you can put a piece across the end, which you can just bottom up to, pull that in tight. Now, when you've done a few, you can actually work from the decking, and what you can do is you can pull that in, okay, nice and tight. If you want to, we've got a little rubber mallet. We can always use the rubber mallet and tap them up if you want to. So you can, just with a rubber mallet, just to make sure they're nice and tight. But what I find is, I just get this is one way of doing them. Just have your bag of spacers. There's your spacers. If you they've got a countersink piece on top, so push the countersink piece on top, hold it nice and sort of vertically. You don't want to go over at an angle on these, because you'll struggle to get the next board in. So keep it held. You're pushing back against this board as well. And then what we do, just pop that, find your, and just screw it down, but don't go all the way. So once we get this into a bit of a rhythm, you'll find that you'll sort of pull that in, get that set up, pull back, hold it, and you can see we can really kind of crack on, and you can get quite a few in quite quick. So we'll just do that again. Just hold it like that, so you're pulling back and you're holding that nice and vertically. There we go again, and there we go. And you can see how you can soon get going with this. And then what we do, once we've done a couple of rows, we can tighten back here, keep it nice and tight. But if I did that all the way, I'd struggle to get the lip in of the board, so just something like that will do it. Right, here we go. I'm going to use my drill, not that one that Adam's got.
Cheap one, cheap rubbish.
And then what we'll do is, I'm just going to put a couple of screws, another way of doing it. Just going to pop a couple of screws in there. So what I'm going to do, just pop those in. One screw there, one screw there. Now I can just slide the wood up to it, and that's going to give me the depth stop for this. So again, I can do 3 or 4 all at once then, so I can just sort of get there nice and square. Put that one in. So this is going to be the one coming back the right hand side. I'm going to put it on the right hand side just as a bit of there, and I'll get another piece. We'll do 4 of these. Just a Makita saw, brilliant little saw. So we're using the Makita LXT today to do all the cutting, brilliant machine. And you can see it's just battery powered. I'm just gonna check the measurement, and I've just put a mark actually, just checking we're aligned, and away we go. Okay, and that's that one. Not the best, but never mind. There we go. We'll put that in and we'll just drop that. I think we'll put it that way around. You can match up the grain on this, so we could match up the grain a little bit. Drop that in there just so that will fit in. I'll just yeah, go in there, that one in that one. Go there. Might just need to back up to get it in, just to make sure this fits in. You just back them off a little bit, like that, and then just tilt it. It'll spring back in a minute if I can get it. Oh, that's starting tight, that one. Don't want to move. Just open that up a bit. That's it. I'm just going to pop that back in, but not so tight. So we'll just sort of ease it in at an angle. Okay, that's going into there. Is it going into that one? Not quite again. So again, we'll just back them off. Probably just tying a little bit too much. Just a little bit of backing off there. A little bit of backing off there. Just tilt the angle a bit. If they've gone in a bit too. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's in. That's in. They're all in nice and tight. Up against the stop. I can just drop them down a bit more now, nice and tight. We'll tighten them up really fully in a minute. That's it. And then we'll just pull that one in a bit more maybe. Just got to come up a tad more. Tad, that's it. Just have a little gap between, not much. A little bit of a gap, but that's okay. That's it, nice and tight now. Then we can come along and tighten them. I've got to cut the tops off these, and I'm going to work out how many more we're going to put in so we can start out the other side. So what we're doing here is I've cut all the noggins to size. They're all 300mm, and then what we do is just drop a noggin in. So we're just doing them every other, and we'll just drop that in. Now over here I've put a concrete footing in, and the concrete footing is level with the joists, so the idea is that people can come along here and step off onto the grass. Okay, so we'll show you, we're going to, after this we'll put a joist in. So by having the noggins all done, we can now offer up a joist and find the location of where we're going to put the joist hanger. So the joist will sit on the concrete and the noggins will give us a bit of space. So the noggins give us a nice bit of space. Ooh. So these are all the same size as the joist there. So what I'm going to do is sit that underneath, and when we come to the right height, offer it up to the noggins are there. Okay, and then I can put a couple of screws in to hold, and just put that screw in to hold the joist hanger. So pop the joist hanger in. We'll just get this so it isn't, just get up a bit so it isn't twisted. Just get that round a bit. That's got that, and then what we do is just put a couple in. So I'm going to use 3 to hold the joist hanger. Just putting a couple in the sides to hold the joist, but I'm going to reinforce this a little bit by using all the holes here, because that's taking the weight. So I think you need at least 3 on each side, you know, or you can use them all, as many holes as they've got really. And what we're going to do, you can see that by doing it this way, you've got the measurements right. We're coming off here, so it's giving you the spaces and a slight fall, obviously, just to let the water shed. We've got a concrete footing across there which is level with this, and so we just carry on, and we can put it together hopefully fairly rapidly. Okay, that's it. A little bit of weight on that, and then one of the next things you do for really low maintenance is to tape over all the boards. You can use beaver tape or some sort of gaffer tape, whatever you can actually board them. That helps a little bit, stopping the moisture get into the wood. It's quite a long job, but you can do that, which can be quite. Now on this one, it's got quite a big span. You have to check when you're doing a job like this what the deflection of the wood is. It's a bit like scaffold boards, so when you stand on them, how much deflection is there? Okay, so how much do they bend? If it was deflecting more, you have to check. There are tables you can look up in called the Architect's Pocket Handbook, little blue book by Baden-Powell, and you can actually put obviously intermediate joists or concrete blocks, wooden joists attached to it, lots of different ways to strengthen it if you're worried about it. So to reinforce the subframe, what I've done, we've just put a slab, bedded it on a dry mix, and I've just cut out with the chainsaw, just cut out a little bit of an L shape, wedged that in and screwed it in. So we've got one there, you can see, got another one here, just at the strategic points where it might be a little bit weak, or you might, it's all about the deflection of the wood. So if these start, you see now how solid this is really kind of solid, it's hardly moving, but you know, so if you go somewhere and it's a little bit, you know, a bit sort of bouncy, you're going to need something to just strengthen that up a little bit.